Hello everybody, welcome along. Happy Homebrew Wednesday to you all. And I thought this week I'd do a little video replying to a comment I had from Paul Mullen, I think it was, on my last video. Just get it up here. Yeah, Paul Mullen asked, he said, I would be interested in a closer look at your hand pull setup via keg. I too have one over at my place near Whitby and have ongoing problems delivering a good pint from it. Well, I don't know what his problems are, but I can definitely show you mine. I'm going to pull a pint now. So before I pull that pint, I'll just show you how I've got it set up, and I've tried to keep it as simple as possible because I'm a strong believer in simplicity works. You can get too many gadgets and whistles and bells and bring yourself problems. So I always try to keep it as simple as possible, and in most cases I get half decent results. So all I've done, I brewed a Timmy Taylor's Best Bitter, I think it was, out of one of my books, which is now being done. It's kegged and I've been drinking it, and straight after this I'm going to do a little bit of a taste test with it, and if the brew day video isn't too long, I'm going to tag the taste test of this beer on with that brew day, make it a grain to glass sort of thing. So right, we'll go right back at bar. Okay then, so we set up at back of my bar, and if you look in this fridge, we've got a keg of beer which is hooked up to the ampoule. So you've got beer out at this side and you've got your gas in there. Just standard, like you normally would have any corny keg. So we've got a keg in this fridge, and I will tell you all PSI settings in a second. In fact, just let me rip this totally off. This insulation, you can see things better then, can't you? So we start back here with my regulator on my bottle. That regulator is set at 10 psi, just enough, 9, 10 psi, and that's roughly my serving pressure to my taps, depending on what beer style I've got on. But because this is hand pull, I don't want it at that. So what we've got is coming out at 10 psi into a one-way valve, just stops any beer going back up to your regulator and knackering your regulator. So we come out at 10 psi and it just goes down and it does a big loop and it goes into this secondary regulator which is set at 5 psi. And we come out at 5 psi there, round back at gas bottle, into my fridge, and as you saw, we click on there at 5 psi. Now, I don't have it any higher than 5 psi. I could probably get away with maybe 3, but 5's working fine, and that is mainly for two things. One, so I can burp my keg and purge it of oxygen, which I do. And then when you've taken so much beer out, it'll just stop you getting that vacuum and just help you to push the beer out of the keg. Not up to your hand pull, it'll just take it out of the keg and the action of your hand pull will pull it rest away. So that's what we've got to the keg. 10 psi, round at second regulator, out at second regulator at 5 psi to the keg, for reasons I've just explained. We then come out of the keg on the bay line, which comes out, down, and it's this one here, and it goes straight up into the back. Now some people call them check units, some people call them demand valves. I've used both words, never know which one to call it. So a check unit or a demand valve, and that's, for me, that's serving two purposes. It's because that's under pressure now, this bay is under pressure. If I didn't have this valve on and this line went straight up to my hand pull, because you've no like off position on that hand pull, that 5 psi would be enough pressure just to push the bay straight out of your keg, straight through your hand pull, and just empty your keg. So that stops that pressure, and it also does what it's called demand valve. It holds a certain amount of bay which is ready for the hand pull when it demands it. When it demands bay, it's there ready to go straight in. So we're out at keg, we're into this demand valve, then we come out at bottom and we go up to the hand pull. In fact, I might be able to get you a better shot there. We go up to the bottom of the hand pull. Now because my bay is in the fridge, this port and this port are your cooling jacket, so I could connect it to a chiller, a Maxi 110 or something, and I could circulate cold water around there, but mine's in the fridge, and I have these pipes insulated, which I've just taken off just for the purpose of this video. And that's basically my setup. I try to keep it straight easy. I will be adding some more of these secondaries so that this main pressure from regulator, whatever it's set at, I know I said it's at 10 at the minute, but that could be set at 20, 25 if I've got another beer on another tap that I want to carbonate. It'd come in there and out at 20 or 25, but the pressure going to that keg for the hand pull would still be at 5 psi, and so would if I had a second one there and it were going in at 20. I could set it at 8, 9, 10 to another tap, so I could be serving a beer at 9 psi. I could be serving my hand pull just with that low 5 psi keg and still be carbing another keg up at 20 or 25 psi. That's the beauty of secondary regulators. So that's the setup I've got, if I've not made that too difficult to understand. So we'll reposition and I'll show you how I pull a pint. And I mean, this is only my setup, how I've done it. I'm not saying this is the right way to do it or the only way to do it. This is my setup, and it may help somebody figure something out on their setup. But it works for me and I'm happy with it. So we'll get you set up and we'll pull a pint. Right, and there we have it, boys. Pint pulled. Probably could have just pulled a little bit more in and not had as quite as big a head on it as that. But if you just want to look at the head, how creamy that is, and that's clearing up to be quite a nice colour. I'll get some light on it. Right, let's take it back round here and put that on there and see where we are. So I'm going to just to wipe that glass. Well, it don't matter, does it? That's my setup on the hand pull. Hopefully I've made it understandable. I think I have, and that's the sort of beer that I'm getting. And like I say, that 5 psi, it's not enough. There's no carbonation in there. I mean, if you wanted just a tiny little bit of carbonation, just a sparkle in there, just a little bit of life, by all means turn it up a little bit. Just put that little bit of carbonation in until you get it to the level you want, then knock it back down. But I like them more or less flat sort of thing off hand pull, which is what I've got, and I'm really happy with that. So oh, that's lovely. Cheers, and I hope that's been helpful to somebody. And I'll now finish the other video off of the grain to glass of this. So I'll catch you all next time. Cheers, everybody.